All right, we're live.
Boom. Good evening and welcome to episode 55. Yeah, that's right. 55 of Pillar Talk. I'm here with the man of the fucking hour, Quentin, the hero, Henry, man, bare knuckle boxing fighter. What's up, brother?
Oh man, another day, another day. It's actually one of my rest days. I got a little massage today, so just getting to hang out a
Ooh.
little bit, taking a day off.
Oh man, you're a bare knuckle boxer, man. And you're going to be on pay-per-view on February 5th, Super Bowl weekend, brother, in Tampa and everything.
Right? I know, it's
Hell
pretty
yeah,
cool.
fighting Chris
I know.
Lieben, bro.
Yeah, the crippler, man.
That's a fucking fight.
Right, yeah. That dude's he's a legend in his own making, he's always been he's the guy that goes out there and goes to war. And I get to go to war with him. So, it's a big deal.
So, could you explain to the viewers what's the difference between bare knuckle boxing and like MMA and all the other combat sports?
Bare knuckle boxing is just straight dick beaters. So it's just throwing fists. We don't wrap our hands. We go like you get 2 inches below the knuckle, and then they wrap below that. So you get to wrap the wrist up with a little bit of tape, and then that's it. So but it's straight boxing rules for the most part. Now we do get to operate in the clinch. Like in the boxing
Oh,
world, you don't get to grab behind the head and tie clinch, and throw punches.
okay.
But in bare knuckle boxing, that's legal. Outside of that, I mean, it's not much different. We go to 2 5-minute rounds. If it's a draw, then it goes to a six, sudden death. But that's where we're at. The sport's kind of taken off. It just got sanctioned really a couple years ago, and now it's taken over the whole country.
Dude, I've been seeing a lot of shit about it. A lot of badass fighters on there, man, and the fights I think, are funner to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different reasons for that. One of it's a little more risque. It's like even when you're watching it, you feel like what's going on is illegal. You're like, man, we shouldn't be watching this just because it's kind of got that taboo of being,
Yep.
bare knuckle boxing for so long. And then once it kind of starts getting into it, and everybody's okay, and you realize that the guys in there are just no different than any other prize fighter, and at the end of it, then everybody starts getting into it, man. And it's easier to relate to than boxing or MMA for the I guess the average fan, because you don't have to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu to understand what's going on. Everybody knows how to fist fight, or everybody's been in a fist fight, and the
Right.
way that the rule set is, they basically let you fight. There's a 2 minute, 2 minute rounds, and you get to tie up and clinch. How many street fights or fist fights do you see? They end up in the insides, like tying up a collar, trying to throw uppercuts.
Yep.
So I think there's a real primal thing to it that people relate to.
I mean, yeah, you guys go out there and you just throw fucking bangers, dude, the whole time. Dude, your jab is fucking nasty.
Thanks, bro.
See you fucking put
Yeah,
motherfuckers' jabs. They're like, oh shit, bro.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's the thing. That's one of the way that they've set up the business model for fighters in the bare knuckle is we don't have to win to keep getting paid. We
Right.
just have to fight well, and really fighting hard is easy. It's easy just to go out there and fight. What's hard is winning, and making sure you win. And
Right.
not saying like you go out there and you don't care about winning, but like in MMA or professional boxing, if you go out there and you lose at the wrong time or the wrong person, your career's over.
Yeah, you
You know,
lose what? Twice, you don't get a fucking contract no more. They
yeah,
bust your contract.
basically, and like they won't even look at you unless you're on like a 4 or 5 fight win streak.
Yep.
So,
You're not
you
even,
fight,
yep.
you might be on, and it happened to me a couple times in MMA, like I'd have 4 or 5 in a row, and okay, Legacy, I got to fight for Legacy, or then I won one with them, and then I won I lost my next one, and then it was like, boop, gone, you know,
Oh
and then I got
yeah.
to start all the way back over, and then they're not even going to look at you again, until you're on like a 3 or 4 fight win streak, which may could take you a year as a pro if you're lucky to get four
Right.
fights in a year, So, but in bare knuckle, it's not like that. It's there's a couple guys on on our roster who have losing records but are still main card fighters. Like Tom Shoaf, for example. That dude's got a losing record, but every fight he's been in has been like fight of the night. You know,
Oh yeah,
he just
banger. It's
happened
a
to be
banger.
the guy that lost. You know,
Yeah.
and in this company they appreciate that. So as a fighter, it's easier to go out there and there's less pressure, you know, because I can't, like I said, I can't guarantee you that I'm going to win, but I can guarantee you that I'm going to fight my ass off. And that's
Oh
all
yeah.
you got to do to get paid.
So that's why you went to bare knuckle, because it's different with the MMA. MMA is so fucking picky.
Oh yeah, it's super political, you know, and it's a cutthroat world in MMA, you know, and a lot of the promoters catch a lot of flack, but at the same time, they're all fighting each other, and their world they're living in is cutthroat. So in order to cut expenses or do whatever, you know, they're just trying to get by and not lose money, you know. So it's just the environment that's been brought about in MMA has just been tainted to me. It's not pure anymore. You know, you see a lot of there's the pressure and the way that it's set up. There's too many guys fighting not to lose instead of fighting to win. And I don't like watching people fight to not to lose. That sucks. It's boring. And you know, I don't like fighting people who just want to not lose. You know, that's their only thing. They don't want to beat me. They just want to not lose to me. If you know, I don't know if that makes any sense, but you know, you go out there with a guy who just wants to wrestle for 30 rounds. And I mean, if somebody just wants to hold onto your waist and they're decent at it, then it's pretty hard to look good or have a good fight. You know, even
Right.
if you do win and do something, it's like, damn, that sucked. It wasn't even fun, you know, but you go out there in a bare knuckle boxing match, bro, it ain't, it's just, you know, the old Watusi and Razzmatazz, and you know, we're going to town, and that's all you got to know, and that's all you got to understand, and it ain't hard to judge it. You know who won. You know, at the end
Yeah.
of the round, you're like, hey, that dude got his ass whooped, and that dude
That
didn't.
dude
So
got
he got
fucking.
that round. You know, there's none of
Oh
this
man.
needing to understand judo or 5 different martial arts to know what's going on every second of a round. You know,
So
so
you just go in the gym and punch shit. You just work on fucking moving around the movements and shit. It's all boxing.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Is
it's
that basically
boxing
what
to
you're
the
doing? Is
same
you boxing?
But what
the
he does
science
is
and
he goes and he puts a quarter in that machine and he just punches that bag as hard as he can and he tries to beat his record
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
That's
right.
all it
I'm at 4,000, dude. What's up?
What? No, we you know, the training camp is a lot like a regular boxing training camp. The only you know, the biggest difference I guess between bare knuckle and I guess regular boxing is you have to be a lot more accurate, you know, and you have to be you know, conscious of how you're taking care of your hands and how your hands are going to hold up. You know, because you see a lot of guys coming for professional boxing who are very, very good boxers, you know, like I don't know how to say his name, you know what I'm talking about.
Paul
That
Costa.
no, no, the
now
other
Paulie
guy.
Malignaggi or
Oh,
whatever.
Paulie.
Yeah,
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
Italian guy that slapped Artem Lobov or what, or no, he
yeah.
booped him with the mic.
I know
Yeah,
who exactly.
yeah.
I don't know how to say his last name though.
Yeah, but for example, you know, that guy, that guy's a great boxer, but he came over here and I think he broke his hand in like the second round. So, you know, you have to have a particular style to make sure that you're throwing hard shots, but you're not throwing them in the danger zones. You know, especially, you know, like with a guy like Chris Leben, you don't just hit him and knock him out, you know, and you don't hit him on top of the head and knock him out. And the chances are you hit him hard enough in the top of the head, your hand's probably going to break, you know.
Oh,
So that's a huge
so
influence as to what you're going to do and how you're going to attack and what you're doing in your fight.
that's weird because I never heard of it. Like, I never thought that the UFC, they would worry about their hands
Well,
They're
that's why they
wrapped.
wear
and they
gloves.
wrap
They're
the shit
wrapped.
out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
crazy.
see,
That's
that's another
a
thing too,
issue.
you know, people don't understand, you know, so like I've competed in every combat sport, except for like Muay Thai fights in Thailand, you know. But I've done kickboxing and boxing, MMA. I was in MMA forever, and people don't realize that. And this is one of the things when somebody first told me like, hey, let's, you know, if you want to do bare knuckle boxing, I'm like, man, you can't hit somebody as hard with your bare knuckle as you can with it wrapped. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
because, and I know that because I always trained my entire career. I've never worn hand wraps. You know, like I'll put gloves on, but I don't wrap my hands when I do it. And I've always told myself that I'm making my hands tougher. I'm working on my hands and, you know, my hands and my forearms because there's a lot of, you know, you use those wraps over and over again. That's like a crutch. And,
Yep.
but man, you get your hands wrapped and you put an MMA glove on it, I can punch through a block wall. and my hand will be fine. And imagine if that's your head,
Yep.
But
Yeah,
without a wrapped hand and a glove on, I'm not punching through no block wall. It's not possible. You can't do it. Your hand will break. So once you wrap the hand and you have the gauze on it and it's stretched over with the glove, the glove isn't to protect your head. The glove and the wrap is to protect your hands so that fighters don't break their hands. And basically you turn your hand into a mace, and that's why it's not as dangerous to be in bare knuckle. You're going to get more cuts because there's smaller surface area, like on the knuckles.
yep.
Let me get my camera.
Yep.
Right,
On the bone.
That's going to give you more cuts, but as far as like damage that's going to go like shockwave into the brain, there's going to be a whole lot less of it, because there's so much more joints and manipulation in there that kind of absorbs the shock when you
Yep.
hit. So, the superficial damage is worse, and it probably hurts a little worse as far as stinging, but as far as, walking in left circles the rest of my life when I'm, turn 64 or something,
Right.
I can at least still play with my kids. I'm already married. It don't matter how much uglier I get.
Right. Do they stop the fights for bad blood just like in any other fight?
It depends on the fight, because it depends on the location of the cut. If the cut, I think, is like if it's tearing into the lip or something like that, because that's something that like requires some crazy amount of surgeries to fix or something. If it's a cut that is if it's causing blood or problems with the vision, but as long as it's not messing with any of that, they pretty much just let it go. you know there's been some pretty epic fights in the past, where Art Lobach and Jason Knight, the first fight they had is, everybody's probably seen that picture, of them after the fight and all the stitches and stuff. Joe Elmore and Tom Schoaf,
one of those fights that brought tons of people in. That's the fight that got me like, oh, okay, this shit's real. This is awesome.
Yeah, it did.
Well, it's the closest to street fighting you can get. Like for real street fight, it's sanctioned street fighting. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can't bite and or elbow anybody, or so there's rules, and that's one of the things that I feel like me as a fighter, that's what I kind of show, is that you don't there's always been this stereotype that you got to have a mental disorder to be a fighter, and I'm not saying I don't have a mental disorder, but that's not necessarily true, because it's just like, I played football my whole life. I played all kinds of other sports, basketball, baseball, and I'm a competitor, and I'm going to find a way to keep competing. And all I'm doing is going out there and I'm testing myself against another man the same way somebody does in a wrestling match or a professional boxing match. And there's just been so much of this fake build up with people just fake hating each other, like we work together, me and Chris Levin, like that's my employee, you know what I mean? Like if somebody new got hired at your work, are you gonna be like, hey, fuck that guy, take my job, or something like that? Like that's not how
fuck you, your wife, and your religion, motherfucker.
Like it's not like that. We're professional guys, and if you're not one of those people who's disciplined and able to do that, you don't make it to this level. So there are those guys out there that have that character and all, but I think I don't like that at all. And that's people are like, well, what do you want to do? Who do you want to fight? I'm like, I want to fight those guys. I want to fight those guys who are full of shit and are really trying to ruin what I like. I love the sport. I love how pure it is. And I don't like the people who are ruining that for me. Like keep that Conor McGregor shit like over in MMA. We're about real man stuff over here. And bare knuckle boxing is how men fight. From the dawn of time, it was like, okay, you got a problem? Like throw up your dick beaters, let's dance. And that's how we fight. Roosters spur each other, grown ass men throw fisticuffs. And so and that's where we relate to it, and it stays that way, and it needs to stay pure, and that's why everybody likes it. But a grown man can go have a formal, even if you had a formal disagreement, can go have a formal disagreement and have a fist fight over it, and it's settled. And that's the way things are supposed to be.
Well,
You know,
story goes, my grandpa owned a company with his brother, and when they had real disagreements, they'd go out back, and whoever won the fight got to make the choice. You know,
right. Yeah, where y'all from? Where were they from?
Michigan.
Okay, but like they must have been like rural Michigan or something. Huh?
Yeah, out in the country.
On the country,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's how I grew up too. You know what I mean? That's how you just settled stuff. You
Dude
went out
screams
and you got in a
America
fist
every
fight.
4th of July.
Yeah,
I got
everybody
a
I've gotten in a
stick out
fist
of
fight
it.
with, I've been friends with afterwards.
Yeah. Oh
That's how it
yeah,
goes.
dude. That's what I get. I feel like when the girls have fights, they get so cynical that they can't like each other again. I
Yeah,
get my ass
man.
beat. I'm like, dude, thanks, bro. Cool.
Girls
You
are a
know?
different breed, though. You
Yep.
can't even get into the psyche of a girl fighter. They're mean. They're so mean.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't
They
even
are.
talk to them.
Just saying that, watching the UFC pay-per-view last, I was like, the girls, they come in and they're mean. The dudes that they're joking around, some of them, but the girls come in, there's nothing like watching a girl fight.
No emotion, no nothing.
They're
trying to kill
actually,
each other.
yeah, they're
Dude,
actually
they're
trying.
pure hate. That's all they
Yeah.
have is hate for each other. And
Yeah.
but it's the same if you go like if you're at a jiu-jitsu tournament. If you go watch the girls jiu-jitsu, that's the most intense matches of the whole day. Even the white belts, like they are going at it. So, you know, like Helen Peralta was like, she scared me in the back my very first fight. I was like, you know, I was kind of feeling myself and she was kind of doing her own thing. And like in the corner, and I was like, you know, I was kind of vibing off of her a little bit, and I'm like, "You ready? You feel it?" She said, "Boy, I was born ready." I said, "Oh shit,
All right.
okay, I'm not gonna
You're
talk to you no
fucking
more."
mean,
I'm
dude. Don't
like,
hit me.
she'll punch me in the face. I'm like, you
Yeah.
know, but hey, then she went out there and she got wild and she got that belt, you know. So, but yeah, man, always tune into the girl fights. I mean, that's like people are kind of knocking the Page and the Page and Britain Hart fight. But I'm telling you, those girls are gonna go out there and scrap hard.
100%. And Paige is known for being tough. You know, for people that don't know what's going on, Paige has gotten her ass whooped a few times and
Right.
still kept going.
Yeah, I think she kind of thrives in spite of that. You know, people want to knock her off as being as just the pretty girl and this and that kind of motivates her to prove them otherwise. You know, so
Right.
I mean, I forgot who she was fighting, but there's that picture that's where she's got that gnarly, like and her face is all covered in blood. Like, hey, that's a tough bitch.
That's
You know
one of
what I
my
mean?
favorite pictures of her.
Yeah.
All the pictures she has online, that's one of my favorites. Like top.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's right there just proves that she's tough, you know, because that's a big deal because to take something like that and just keep fighting, you know, that's where I guess you become legitimate, you know, and people are like, "Oh, well, hell, she can take some damage and keep coming." You know, so really I think this is a good sport for her, you know, as long as you know, I like Britain too, so don't get me wrong. I know she's. I watched her and Beck Rawlings fight. That was one of my first female bare knuckle fights. I saw that live in Biloxi, man, and that's one of the best bare knuckle fights I've ever seen. So you know that's going to be a really good fight. You know, I'm excited about that one too.
How long has bare knuckle boxing been out? The championship?
The league.
Yeah, the league.
I'm not sure exactly when they start. I know that we had my teammate Brandon fought for him back in I think 2017 in Biloxi. So
Okay.
and I think that might have been their first year. I'm not 100%.
So about
on
4
that.
years, 5 years, 4 years.
Something like that. And then you got to subtract one because you know we lost pretty much a whole year because of the Rona.
Yeah.
Because of Rona,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
big
dude,
deal.
we got the Rona and you fucking shaped up, dude. You came out like a fucking bat out of hell, dude.
Yeah,
You
it
look
helped me. It gave me a chance to well, I mean, it forced me into training. It was all I had to do, you know. I was able to get back to my prime, you know, where I used to be when I was you know, I was probably in the best shape of my life when I was 23 or 24. And it was multiple reasons. You know, I'd just gotten older. You know, at the time I've been training good. I'd went through a divorce, so I was definitely having to train more. I had more time to do that. You know, I had more extra motivation like that, and it just pushed me to get in shape. You know, and then we had the Corona going on, and then I've got other businesses and stuff that I run, and all those kind of pretty much just came to the halt. My gyms shut down, so, and all I had left to do was work out. Like I had a gym, I couldn't make any money with it, but I could train. I could train myself. So, and that's what I did. I got to work. I do work at the house with my wife and kids and do all that, and then I go to the gym. I get up early and go to the gym. I might go to the gym twice that day. But I was so busy before the Corona, I couldn't keep up with anything at all. And then I instantly went from so busy to just having more time on my hands than I knew what to do with. And it was depressing at first with all that going on, but you either gotta make the best of your situation.
Look at you now. You're on pay-per-view, bro.
Right. And I always told myself if I ever went to jail, then I would come out just so fucking jacked because all I would do the whole time is work out. And that's basically what I mean, not basically, because jail's obviously way worse. I got to spend with my family or whatever, but y'all understand, everybody went through it, but you felt like you were on isolation, like you were in jail. It's like, all right. And I just put all that frustration and all that into training, so if everything else was going to go down, the only thing I could control was that, then I was going to make sure that went well.
Yeah. And the difference between that year of your fighting is like the way your body looks is completely different. You don't even look like the same dude, especially, you got your beard now too. So you don't even look like the same dude in that fight.
Yeah. I was a firefighter for 9 years, and I left in January of last year. So yeah, I left about a year ago. So, as a firefighter, you got to shave every day, keep your hair cut. There's that. The first BKFC fight I had was I was coming off about like an 8 or 9 month layoff. I'd retired from fighting from MMA. I wasn't fighting anymore. I had retired. All I was doing was I was coaching and training, my students, but I really wasn't doing any type of training for myself. And I was probably, and that was the first time I'd ever done that since I was 16. So, I was probably in the worst shape I had ever been in my whole life. and then David Feldman and them called me up and were like, "Hey man, you want to fight in 3 weeks?" And I'm like, "Yep." and that's what I did, and I showed up and I fought. But I was just in really, really bad shape when I took that fight. Like I said, if you go back and you look at some of my fights, like when I was 23, 24, 25, at the bigger weight classes when I fought at 205 or whatever, I feel like looking at those pictures, I look better back then than I do now. But I guess that's debatable. But yeah, so I was able to kind of to focus again and regain that and get back to it.
Well, you know why I think you look better now, because everything looks better on pay-per-view, baby.
Right. That ain't a lie. Hey, and the mullet, bro,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
probably that's the cherry on top.
And then you get that bitch wet before you walk out.
Ooh, it. Them curls start doing that little kinky little, man, you don't even know. You don't even know. That's all natural too. I ain't got no perm. That's
I was
American.
gonna say
that's all America right there, baby.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. This is your first pay-per-view you're gonna be on?
Yeah, I guess it is. I didn't realize that. Yeah, until now. So the first fight was free on YouTube. That was the first free fight they did, which was pretty cool, because I was my first fight, so I wasn't gonna get paid very good either way, So, but like 1.1 million people had like tuned in to watch it because it was free, so that was huge. And then yeah, my last fight was on the BKFC app, so but yeah, this will be the first big pay-per-view that they're doing through the Fight TV and all that. If you download my promo code, I've got it on my Instagram, you can I think, and you register through the BKFC app, it's included in your subscription. It was going to be like $40 through the Fight TV app, but if you go ahead and register with BKFC TV through my link, Hero Henry, you'll find it. I'll post it somewhere.
At Hero Henry.
It's actually included with the BKFC. Yeah, at Hero Henry's my Instagram. I get it in my bio.
Oh hell yeah, bro! Hell yeah, dude!
But yeah,
Oh,
so it'll be my first pay-per-view. So it's pretty
yeah,
cool.
dude. And what's cool is you're fucking at Super Bowl weekend, dude. The first time a home team plays the Super Bowl, dude.
Andy
I know,
has
man. Look at my buddy that goes with me to all my fights. He's like, he's so gay for Tom Brady, like hardcore.
That's Josh,
Tom
bro.
Brady.
Yep.
Dude,
He said
loves
wherever Tom Brady goes,
And,
I'm a fan of that team.
yeah, but like when they came out, they were going to have a Super Bowl card. You know, I was like, oh man, that would be, that's cool. They're going to have a fight the same weekend as the Super Bowl. Like that'd be cool. You know, if you fought on the card, the Super Bowl's in the same town, like. And then my buddy was like, yeah. He's like, it's in Tampa too. He's like, that'd be awesome if Tom Brady was in the Super Bowl. And this was before the playoffs or anything started. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. I was like, but that'll be cool. We'll do like a Super Bowl party weekend where we watch the fights and stuff. And then it went from that to them calling me and they were like, hey, you're fighting on Super Bowl weekend. I'm like, man, come on, really? And then so I did that, and then now Tom Brady is playing there. It's like I don't know, man. It was like he saw it in the future or something, but
we call
creepy.
that the synchronicity wave.
I know, that's what I told him. I'm like, dude, we should have put down $100 that day that Tom Brady was going to win the Super Bowl, and it would have been a huge, because at that time they were like losing. They weren't doing very well. They had lost to the Saints like twice. I'm like,
they got fucked up by the Saints and then beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah, man.
Whooped them, man. Oh man.
Hey man, they didn't show up. That's what happens when you don't show up. It's the playoffs. You only get one chance.
Dude, it's Tom Brady in the playoffs. That dude's like the most person that's been in the playoffs. He played so many fucking playoff games, dude.
But Drew Brees is supposed to be that guy too. I don't know what happened, man. I know what did happen is Devin White, that LSU alumni guy. He grew up in Shreveport, like an hour from here. That dude killed the Saints. If he wouldn't have been playing, they wouldn't have won the game.
Oh hell no!
Dude, he got like 2 interceptions, a fumble, a couple sacks, and then he was killing them in the Green Bay game too, man. That guy's ridiculous.
Dude,
it's a different breed down here in the boot, man. When they come out, they're just monsters. Some of us just monsters.
Yeah, the fucking out in the fucking. How hype were you when fucking what's his name LSU quarterback Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, what about him?
How hype were you when they were winning last year?
Oh no, you're talking about Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Yeah,
oh yeah, man,
Trevor Lawrence is Clemson.
Yeah, he's the one that got ball dragged in the SEC. I mean, in the national championship.
Oh, he got balled. Yeah,
by Big Dick Joe. Yeah. That's what happened. It was nice. Yeah, we were super hype about that. We took that dude in when he came down here. He fit in just well.
That might be the best offensive that might be the greatest college football team ever. Like for 1 year, that might be the greatest of like every single stat was just way better. It was like that might be the best college football team of all time.
All time?
Yep. The strongest one, because they fucking ate Alabama, dude. Alabama never had a chance.
Yeah, they did. But then Alabama had a pretty good team this year. I think they actually they took a couple of the records that LSU broke last year.
Oh
but they're always going to do that. Those are the two teams that are going to be cutting it back and forth.
Yeah, but look at what Alabama coach is doing. Anything in the NFL, I mean, I can throw to a wide open dude.
Well, there's one Alabama coach
or Alabama fucking
coach players
quarterback.
Okay.
Alabama quarterback, he doesn't go out in the NFL and do anything.
Yeah, the system is set up, and they have so many athletes. I think the system's set up a lot of times where you can just be a decent quarterback and it plays to your benefit there.
I got the fastest guy.
Tua Tagovailoa, I think he's doing okay. What he in Miami? He's in Miami. He did all right. Yeah. And then Jalen Hurts was getting to play with Philadelphia. I don't know if he ended up. I don't know. I didn't pay as much attention to the NFL this year because they started getting all political and I was like, hey, I don't want to. It ruined it for me. So, I kind of paid attention when the game was on, and like my buddy is like obsessed with both my buddies. I have one buddy who's like this huge Saints fan, and this other one's that's a huge Tom Brady fan, man, and they were like not talking to each other when like after the game. One was like, Tony's like, I'm going to punch him in the face when I see him. We're going to fight. After that Saints game, but yeah. So I mean, I keep up with it through them and all, but you know, I don't know. Just everything this past year has just been weird and hard to keep up with in
I
general.
know the fucking the college or the not the college, the NBA basketball finals and shit like that.
I don't know. I didn't pay
Weird.
attention. I quit. Only sports I paid attention to this year was MMA. Period.
Yeah, it was like the only thing that was on, you
Yeah.
know, or that wasn't
was.
weird, you know.
Yep.
I don't know. It was weird not having the fans and stuff, but
I like
once
it
you know
better that
watching on TV, it's no different for you.
on TV when you watch it with no fans. I like the being able to hear the guys
Right.
talk to each other, being able to hear the corners. Actually,
And you know
I
that's
felt
what it's like watching a fight in Japan
total silence.
in a stadium full of people. It'll be
What?
100,000 people in there. You hear
They don't
pin drop.
cheer?
Yeah,
When they make a noise, it's like you.
yeah.
It's
I've heard
it's different.
interviews of these guys like Bass Rutten and guys like that, and they're like, it's weird when you go
Total
out there
silence.
because they have that much respect for what's going on. They don't open their mouth and they just watch the fight.
I
Every
hate
single one
to
of
be
them.
a fucking American and they're like, yeah, fucking kill
Oh yeah,
him.
dude. Americans are the worst when it comes to that kind of stuff. Hey, dude, but we're always turned up. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's good, sometimes it's bad, you know, but at least we keep it at 10, you know.
I'm fucking wasted in the front row, like, oh my
Right.
god, bite him, fucking
Yeah.
bite him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Y'all
shit.
seen that guy who was it? That guy on that YouTube video where he's like, "Dick punch."
Yeah, I
He's
love that.
hollering that at him.
Give me your
Yeah.
dick twister.
Yeah, yeah. Jeez, it's
That's
like, whoa,
funny
man,
stuff.
it's MMA.
Yeah, that's MMA, dude. That's kind of illegal.
Yeah.
That's not even
Yeah.
right.
That's one of my favorite videos of all time.
Oh, dude, yeah, that one's classic.
Yeah, dude. We seen interview with you, and you were talking about self accountability, and
How important that
how
is to you.
important that is to you. Just tell us a little bit about like how you keep yourself accountable.
That shit's important to us.
You know, well, it's mainly just about checking yourself, and really, the easiest way to go about it is to just accept that everything's your fault, and once you and it sounds like a terrible thing, but really, the flip side of that means that if it was your fault, that means you could control it. And if it wasn't your fault, then that means it was completely out of your control, and it was terrible luck, and you cannot change it, and nothing can be done about it. You know, but when you flip that mindset, you know, to everything's my fault, and there it doesn't matter where, you know, if you go down the line with the butterfly effect and things like that, there was somewhere down the line where you know you could have done something to change the outcome of that situation to better fit what ended up happening. You know, so that was a thing that I kind of started getting into when I was you know reading. I read a lot of different books about you know different things, body language and just confidence or sports therapy or sports psychology, just all kinds of stuff, business stuff, you know, and that was you know just from different books I'd read and put together, and you know that there's so many people out there that you see, especially on social media and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, this happened to me," and blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Every time somebody has a solution, they have an excuse, and that's
Right.
not their fault. It's not their fault, and they're like, that's just a shitty way to live, you
Yeah.
know, to just be at the mercy of everybody else all the time, and I just choose not to live that way, you know. And just because something was your fault doesn't mean it was something that you could have stopped. You know, I mean, you know, there's a lot of things that you do that you can't foresee. You know, the results of what it's going to be until it happens, and then you're like, oh well, damn.
Falls in
You
front of
know,
you.
like okay, well that's what happens when I do that. You know, so what's important is to learn from it. You know, but the issue is when you never accept that something went wrong or that it was your fault, you can't change it, and then you just feel like, oh, you blow it off, you know. And that I think a lot of it came into my fighting, and you know, getting into the psychology of fighting and trying to get better and trying to fix myself, you know, because I've always been just naturally, I mean, it's not just in an arrogant way, it's just I've naturally been good at this. And it's because I've been doing it since I was like 3 or 4, So every time I've trained, every time I've gone, I've just naturally been good at it, and I took that for granted, and I as a kid, not realizing that, having that self accountability, when you lose or something happens, you make excuses so that it's not your fault, and you just constantly do that, but the whole time you do that, in the back of your head it's an excuse,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
you don't accept it, and it's the same thing. If you don't confess, you can't be redeemed, and and that's really where the start of it, went, because I had fights where things went wrong and I was just blowing it off. Be like, no, that wasn't my fault. I lost that fight. That wasn't my fault. This happened, and maybe, and like sometimes it was just some shitty stuff that happened, but there were things I could have done, better. Like one time I got hit in the back of the head a bunch of times, and that it was illegal. It was against the rules. They should have stopped it. They should have done this and that. But I didn't feel right in that fight. I wasn't going to win that fight. But I knew that. But I got to say, or people got to say, oh well, he hit him in the back of the head. Yeah, he did. But that's kind of a cop out, because I shouldn't have gotten put in that position in the first place. And
Right.
that's when you start to be, severely critical of yourself, and that's the way where you start to grow.
Yep.
So uh, I just see, and I try to do that with like my kids, my students, and my jiu-jitsu students and stuff like that. There will be, like there was a kid, for example, that he went against one of my guys and he lost. My guy lost or whatever, and then another guy was like, "Oh, well, that guy was in the Olympics." We're like, "What?" And like he was in the Olympic trials or something for running or track and field or something like that, and I'm like, "Give a shit." This is a
Was
Yeah.
that
jiu-jitsu match. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so what? What? Oh, so it's okay that he beat you because that dude was in the Olympics when he was in high school or was in the Junior
For
Olympics or
something
whatever. Like,
else
he's a
completely.
grown ass. He's a man. You're a man. Like, don't do that. You lost because you didn't perform and you didn't do what you were supposed to. So and that's kind of the thing that I needed somebody to do to me when I was that age and when I was trying to come up and when I was doing that, because I had such this big head and this arrogance that I couldn't be touched, and even when I was touched, it wasn't my fault. It couldn't be my fault, right? I'm too good. Can't be my
Yeah.
fault. But all that does is keep you from growing. And so when I finally kind of accepted that and started to live my life that way in general, everything started to come together a little better.
Yeah, because you look back at the tapes and you're like, oh man, this is what I did wrong. I could do this a little bit better, take a little bit
Right.
less damage,
well, and
Yeah.
the more accountable you are with yourself as a whole, not even talking about your professional career, just your inward as a human, the better you're going to be everywhere else, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You-
mean, and you can't just apply it to one thing. It's a blanket effect. You gotta look at everything that way. But, you know, it gives me more peace of mind, knowing that I at least have a little bit of control over where I'm going or what's happening. You know what I mean? So, um,
I'm a big
yeah,
person to where it's like, okay, complain if you want to, but if you can't change it, stop complaining. And if you can change it, stop complaining and change it.
right.
Yeah. that
See, like,
that's just,
okay, so I don't want to know who y'all voted for, but did y'all vote third party or not vote?
I don't vote.
I
Okay.
I did not during this election, but third party
Okay.
I voted
Well,
last
like,
time.
okay, so there's a group of people out there who don't pick a side either way, right? And
Yep.
they like to just make fun of everybody else.
Yep.
They're no better than either one of the other groups.
Yep.
You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, you didn't actually do anything. And I feel the same way about people who are voting third party because you just wasted your time.
Yep.
Like you just did that so that you can say, oh, well, I still voted. Well, your guy's an asshole, and you get to say that either way. So, you kind of get to divide stuff up like that, and
That
yeah.
was the year. That was the year I found out that, your vote really doesn't count because I
Yeah, we
voted
found that out this year.
I voted for this lady, and all she got was like 1 million fucking votes. When the
Yeah.
the next two the two top dogs got like 50 fucking 6 million.
Right.
What at the
Yeah.
point was what was the point of me voting?
Right. You know, I mean, in theory, it's altruistic and it sounds great, but it's a waste of time. You know, you know, but it's just where we are. You know, that's those. But I feel like those type of people a lot of times are just like, I feel like they don't have any control over anything. They're giving up their right to have any say so. When in really, like we all know now, like it doesn't matter what we vote for or what happens. They're gonna do whatever the fuck they want. But but that's the way I look at it when people don't take self accountability. You know, it's like, well, why are you complaining? You didn't do anything to fix it. You know,
Yep.
type of deal. It was like you could do something, like do something. You know, whether it was a good effort, whether your effort worked or not, doesn't matter. It's the fact that you tried. You know,
It's the
type of
fact that
deal.
you put in some sort of effort.
Well,
Right,
the reasoning I have behind it is I like all humans and everything like that, and I think,
Right.
and I like peace. I'm a peace guy.
Yeah.
So when everybody's fighting, I'm like, I don't need nothing to go in there because everybody talks shit and about politics.
Yeah.
Everybody hates
Well,
everybody.
see, like you're excluded from that crowd because I'm talking about the crowd of people who don't do that and then get on Facebook and know everything.
Oh yeah.
And they know exactly why everybody else is an idiot.
Yeah.
And they should have voted third party with them. You're like, what?
All you other
Okay,
500 million people are wrong.
Or
Us
they'll do that
million
and they'll be like,
people
well,
are
I didn't,
smart.
or they'll say I didn't vote, but they have such strong opinions, you know what I mean? And if you're gonna have that same outlook, and that's what I'm saying, like if you live your life that way, if you go through that with fighting or whatever it is, you have to, you gotta have control over it. You gotta play to win the game. And that's not playing. If you don't have any control over what's going or it's not your fault, then you can't win. You know, like Joe Rogan, he had a quote that I thought was kind of funny. Not funny, but it was really deep because he has people that'll tell him like, "Oh, you saved my life listening to your show or this and that." And he's like, "No, I didn't. Don't give me that because that's not how the world works. If I'm responsible for your good shit, then I'm responsible for your bad shit too. And I don't need that. I'm not. No, you did that on your own. That was your good thing that you did. And that's how it needs to go. But you can't take all the good and all the credit for the good things you do, and then when all the bad things happen, oh, that's somebody else's fault. Like, no, bro, you still driving. You still the pilot.
What I do is I say you make that shit sandwich, you got to eat it. Just
Right.
eat
Yeah.
it. You just got to harp it down eventually, dude.
Yeah, like down here, it's saying no point in nibbling on a turd. Just take it out in one bite.
Yeah, just take it, whatever. Shit. I'm a fucking
right.
idiot, dude. I'm gonna eat this shit sandwich. I'm gonna fucking sit here and think about what I did.
Right. Yeah.
Man, that's it. You just gotta accept that shit can't go your way in life always. There's so many different opinions and shit. Just fucking go with the flow, dude. Just chill out.
Well, it's that, but like life is always gonna have highs and life's always gonna have lows. It's never gonna be one or the other all the time. Unless you choose to just stay low, and you quit. But if you never quit, things will get better, and that's one of the things I try to tell myself when I'm in a slump. I'm like, all right, man, look, we gotta hold on until we make it through. Like, I remember how good it felt when I was high up. And, we'll be back, we'll be back there. We just gotta make it.
Positivity, just like negativity, is fucking contagious.
Man, it is. And I didn't realize that when I was younger.
If you walk into a room like a fucking dickhead, everybody's the whole mood is gonna be shit.
Yeah.
You walk in there and make everybody fucking laugh. You guys are fucking laughing and partying all night, having a good ass time.
Man, that's one of the things about MMA. Like I didn't like it was like there were so many of those attitudes around because I don't know why it was, but that's how it felt when you went into a room. It was like everybody was like.
Yeah,
onto each other and stuff, and it's like, but when you go to these bare knuckle matches, man, like everybody's nice. They're all nice to each other. Like we all had to go do COVID testing at the same time, and it's just a group full of bare knuckle boxers in this room. I'm the first one, and I come out, and I'm like, I look like I got tear gas. I'm like, my eyes. I'm like, everybody's laughing and having a good time or whatever, and we get our test done. And I mean, there's a couple guys that like just don't like each other, but for the most part. we're
Yep.
all professionals. We're there.
But
We're there to.
the sad part about it is the UFC is like the MMA was like, oh my god, this is like a real hand-to-hand combat show. But now it's like mostly it's like fucking wrestling, but you guys are fighting for real. Because
Right.
you guys got to promote, like, if you ain't getting people in the seats because you don't talk shit like an asshole, then you don't fucking play. You don't make no money.
Yeah,
And
but I think that this bare knuckle thing, it's an opportunity to do things right. But the only way that happens is if the guys who are like the icons of the industry keep it that way. Like there's a way to sell a fight and be entertaining and be likable to people without,
the
flipping people
hatred.
off in the cage and
Oh,
acting a fool in front of people, or playing some type of character, but I don't know if it's not as easy, I wouldn't say, to just be yourself. But I know there's a lot of guys who that's paid off for, building that persona. And, Conor McGregor for one, Nate Diaz, the Diaz brothers, they've got that, where are they
fuck
from?
you.
I
Smack
look,
the shit out of you.
I looked it up.
Stockton, yeah, they're from Stockton, or whatever, and that's paid off from them. They have that character there, but that's not who I want to be, and
No.
I don't like guys like that have made it harder for me to live my life and have a career that I love and a sport that I love because I don't get looked at as an athlete or a sport. I get looked at as some type of animal all the
Yep.
time, and yeah, it's like I was doing an interview with Chris Lieben and they were, kind of fanning the flames a little bit about, and they were wanting us to talk shit to each other, and really sell the fight, but neither one of us were going to do it, and excuse me, because I don't have any ill will towards him. I
Yeah,
respect the
let me
dude,
go
and
out.
that's what I told him
Let
from
me
the beginning.
yeah.
And they were talking about, when you heard he was going to put you in a body bag, that had to just made you angry. You had to have been angry. I'm like, they're like, what were you thinking when that happened? I was like, that was the coolest shit I'd ever heard. I'm like, that's
I
all I
was
could
eating a bag
think
of chips.
was
That's
Chris
what he
Lieben
want.
just
Yeah.
told the world he's going to put me in a body bag. I'm like, I was so excited. I was so fanboy. But the last thing that ever popped into my mind was that I'm mad about this at all.
Yeah.
It was like,
Like, holy
and
shit,
I
this
get
dude's a
that.
fucking
That's just
legend.
right, and that's you gotta have that attitude. Like, hey, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna put this dude down. And if he didn't have that attitude, he's in the wrong sport.
Yeah.
So, but it ain't making that I've got a thing that it's just been resonating in my mind here lately. I'm about to get a new tattoo, but like when I don't know if y'all are religious. I'm not like super religious or anything, but one thing that's always stuck out to me about the Bible is when Jesus was being crucified and they were like stabbing him and stuff, and then he was telling them, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand what they're doing, and that I started to take a lot of an outlook on that when somebody either has somebody ill will towards me or something's going on, whether it be like that guy handed me some coins after the weigh-ins and told me these are for the boatmen for like the River of Styx, that kind of got me fired up a little bit, but it didn't make me mad. It was, and that's what I think. Forgive him. He doesn't understand what he just did. He didn't understand that just sealed his fate, and that's just the way it's going to go, so, you don't ever understand somebody's, situation with all that going on. So, you know, I'm just happy to be here. And I just was happy to be a part of what was going on, just,
And that's kind of what I try to teach my kids too. You never know that person that's talking shit, that's bullying. You never know what's going on their end because usually
right.
there's an issue with them.
They've learned it somewhere. Bullies don't just happen. They had to have been, bullied by their dad, older brother. Some, it's happened. Someone, you don't ever understand what's going on, like I had a road rage incident kind of, and I say road rage incident. It's like I didn't get out of the car and try and kill somebody. It was like they road raged at me and I got out and was like, hey, what's up? Like, well, what are we going to do about this? Like, you got something to say? Like, we're going to
I
talk.
do this shit
But,
for a living, dude. Don't do it.
right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've used that a couple times, and but it's like I use that as like a disclaimer. It's not like I'm trying to like It's not that I'm saying it to try and keep them from fighting me. It's to keep me from getting sued. It was like I fucking told them before, like they said they didn't care, like But so that and it was like I supposedly pulled out in front of this guy or whatever, and this going on. Well, he was about to turn right anyway. Well, he was going way too fast. Had I pulled out in front of him either way, he didn't decide to slow down. He decided to ride up on my ass and lay on his horn. So like I'm like, okay, so you felt like I pulled out in front of you. Your solution was to run me over, was to
Yeah.
commit vehicular homicide. That's what you were gonna do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's like, and it's not forgiving because he might have been having a bad morning. Forgiving because he didn't realize the mistake he was about to make. And if I would have let him continue on that mistake, it would have been a permanent mistake he would have never recovered from. So I
Yeah.
mean, it goes both ways. It's better off just to forgive that guy, even if he was in the wrong, because he doesn't understand what he's about to get himself into. And
Yeah.
that's the way I feel when people talk shit to me in a cage fight. I'll forgive them, not a cage fight or a bare knuckle fight, for anything. It's like, you don't understand what you just did. And, but I forgive you and we can talk about it later. But it doesn't mean I'm going to forget it.
Dude, that's sweet. I like that. He don't know what he don't know what he's about to get into, man. He don't know what the wave is coming. But that's, I mean, I think it takes a whole. I hate fucking the people that are honking and trying to go somewhere and shit, bro. Just pay attention to your fucking driving and get to where
Yeah.
you're fucking going.
Man, look, and I'm not going to say that I'm not, like I'm 100% paying attention all the time. Sometimes I make mistakes as a driver, but I feel like we need to have two sets of horns, and I think there needs to be like a polite horn, and there needs to be like a rude horn. So like, there's one horn that you hit like when somebody's texting and they're not paying attention at the light's green. You're like, hey, buddy, green light.
Yeah.
There should be a horn like that, but there's just one horn, and that horn says "fuck you" every time,
Yeah.
really harshly. It doesn't
Well,
matter how
the
nice
horn
you were trying to be.
You just go boop
Yeah.
for that, and then you just hammer it for the assholes.
Yeah, I can never do that though. Like I go to like barely hit it, and I'm like, wah, and it's too long. It's just never right. Yeah.
Get stuck in there. Fuck.
There needs to be one that's just like a bell, like you hit. It's like we're in what 2021. We can do that.
Right.
My iPhone plays slow motion. And back that ass up. They can't. My car can't. Play different horn.
Oh
Right.
yeah, it can definitely. You just
That
gotta pay for
motherfucker
it.
can drive
standard.
himself. He can't say, "Hey, bitch, move out the way."
Right. Like,
You're gonna
hey man, light screen.
drive, pull over.
Yeah, I get you have an important email, but light screen. Get it at the next one.
What's that belt sitting behind you? The champion belt.
That is one of my belts from. I don't have any of my. Well, that was from the Battle of the Badges. It's a local event that we do here in Monroe. It's cops versus the firefighters.
Yep.
So, and I fought on that 5 or 6, 7 times. And I was the title holder at like heavyweight in 205, and so I did that, for a while. But they always it raises like a lot of money for med camps for kids. It's like a summer camp for kids with disabilities.
Okay.
So it's a charity event that we do here in Monroe. That's one of my titles. It's actually like the nicest belt I've got. Like I've won.
Hey, dude.
I've won
Synchronicity,
like
man.
3 belts in MMA, and like the belt I got from a charity event is like hands down like the best quality quality belt that I've got. Like the fight shorts that I wore in the last fight and the first one are from my are from that same event. They're really nice shorts and stuff. They take care of us. They don't pay you to go fight. You're doing it for charity, but they take care of the fighters when they go in there. We have people come in from Chicago and California, and we got cops and firemen from all over the country coming to do it.
That's sweet, dude. Oh, we're from Monroe, Michigan, dude.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm from
Born
West
and raised.
Monroe, Louisiana.
Yep. Well,
Right.
I seen West Monroe, and then when you said it, Josh was like, "What?
It's the synchronicity wave happening again,
Yeah, so back in the day, Monroe was kind of like the central hub, and West Monroe was just like a little hit down. It was nothing but crops and stuff, so it was just west of Monroe. It wasn't like that big of a deal back then,
Right. But now it's a big city. Is it?
Sounds like Monroe there is the same as here. You
Well,
know?
now it's home to the baddest bare knuckle boxer on the planet. So, now it's
Ooh,
kind of a big deal.
that's cool. How
He
do you
says
feel?
now it is.
How do you feel that Chris Lieben's fighting his last match with you, man?
It's pretty cool, man. It's an honor to say the least. It's kind of scary, which makes it more fun because it's his last fight. He ain't gonna
Gotta
go
call.
out easy. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? He's gonna give it everything he's got left. So I'm expecting to get the most dangerous Chris Lieben you've ever seen, and it just gets me fired up. The more dangers that's involved, the bigger the rush. That's why you do
Right.
it. So you know, the best thing about getting knocked out, you know what it is?
What's
What?
that?
You never
Fight
remember it.
Oh, you
You
never
know what I
remember.
mean? Every time I've never just been starched or anything, but I've talked to people, I've knocked people out, and this is the first thing they say is, "What happened?" You know what I mean? But shit, everybody's scared to death to get knocked out.
Either what
From
happened or how.
firsthand experience, everybody I talk to, it ain't that bad. They don't even remember what happened. So, that's the worst that's gonna happen to me, bro. I'm not worried about it. We're gonna
Like, holy shit, dude, what happened, bro?
Actually, I did. Me and T-Rup were messing around one time, and he's like, "Put me in a chokehold. Put me in a rear naked."
I gave him.
He goes, "You're never gonna be you're too little to do that to me," because he's twice my size.
right.
He gave me his neck. Wasn't wrestling with him, but he gave it to me, and in 3 seconds he was out, and he woke up. He's drooling. He goes, "I didn't go out." I go, "Dude, you're drooling."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping.
Right. I'm
You're
not sleeping. Yeah, I sound like my wife every night. You asleep over there?
I'm not
No,
sleeping.
I'm not asleep.
Women, dude. How long you been married?
5 years. December or not
Nice.
December. Let's see. November
Uh-oh.
7th, 2011. So we just hit 5 years.
Oh yeah, bro.
5 years.
Congratulations. You got any kids?
Yeah, he's got a couple.
Uh, man, my wife's watching this since 2015. My daughter was born in 2011. Anyway, yeah, it's been 5 years. So y'all didn't even catch the math.
No, dude, I'm not that
Dumbass.
smart.
He's got a couple
But yeah,
brain.
so we just hit 5 years. It's been great. My wife's awesome. She helps me so much with all my fighting stuff. Like even like for my interviews. I'm sorry I keep messing with these things, man.
No, you're good.
But like my interviews, she'll set up my little booth for me and put up my sponsors and all, and she helps out selling tickets and stuff. So she's my partner in all this.
Oh hell yeah, dude. I like that. That's a good
I
one.
feel like that's
You need a good support system to
doing what
fucking
you
do
do.
what you got to do. You
Man,
won't.
yeah, I mean, it's super important. That way, all I do, it keeps it where I can focus on training, and I'm not one of those people that's going to ask for help or ask people to do things for me to make it easier. I mean, I'm just going to try and do it myself, but there's people that are in my life that take it upon themselves to do that for me, and I'm very fortunate for that. And she's one of them.
Damn, that's sweet, dude.
My
You
mom does it a
still,
lot. My dad, I got my friends that help me out with different stuff. I got friends that just ride with me to fights. They show up to the fights because I got to go down there early, to adjust and do whatever. They just show up early. They're like, hey, yeah, we're sure to hang out, type of deal. So, but that all plays a part in all of it. It's super important.
so when are you going to be going down?
I think I'm actually, I think I'm gonna. It's like a 12 and a half hour drive or something, and that's like, or it's 12 hours if you drive straight without stopping, and I hate that. I have to stop when I'm one of those people that like stopping places when I drive. But so I think so. Monday we're gonna head down, and I think we're gonna stay like in Mobile or something like that the night, because that's about a halfway point. We're gonna drive the next morning, Tuesday, over there to Orlando. I know, did I lose you guys? I don't know. What happened? Oh, It still says live. I don't know if people are watching or not, but I don't know.
All right, we're back. We're back.
Oh shit, I'm sorry, bro.
I'm gonna let him get ready.
Bring it back.
Yeah, I'm letting him get his headphones in. That's our bad, guys.
The router got unplugged. I'm sorry. Our
Okay.
internet router.
Kids are
We're back.
downstairs. You know, they plugged in the lamp and it unplugged the router all at the same
Yeah.
time.
Shit, bro.
I got 3 kids. I get it.
Yeah, he's got 3 of them down there too. They're down there making noise. You heard them earlier. Let's wrap up by saying plug in all your shit and let us know how to get a hold of you, your highlights, and to talk a little bit about the pay-per-view for the people watching.
Yeah, February 5th, it's going down Super Bowl weekend. We're going to be Tampa. It'll actually be the venue's in Lakeland, which is right outside of Tampa, Florida. It's going to be a huge fight. You know, Paige Van Zant's going to be making her debut and against Britain Hart, who I know she's not getting as much coverage really as Paige is, but she's a veteran of this bare knuckle thing. You know, like I said before, you know, her Becca Rawlings is one of the best female fights I've ever seen. So, you know, that's going to be a super entertaining fight when they go out there and go at it. And then you got co-main event is Johnny Bedford. What? He's like my favorite fighter. he I met Johnny a lot of times, you know, because he's only right there in Fort Worth, so he brings a lot of fighters from his gyms to the same fights that my guys will fight at and stuff. And you know, he's a super nice guy, super genuine, and he's just and that's what I tell everybody. I'm like, man, he's just a mean little bastard.
Right.
And you know, I've never personally trained with him, but my training partner Brandon, who's like my other coach with me, he used to go over there and train with him all the time, and he's like, dude, he's just mean all the time. He's always mean. It doesn't matter, and it's not like, you know, he hates you mean. It's not. It's just like that's his speed when he's training. And you know, when I found out he was doing bare knuckle, you know, we were like, oh, that's his thing. You know, that mean little bastard is gonna, he's just made for that. You know, and it turns out, you know, he's 5-0. I don't even think I've seen him have a fight that really looked competitive yet. Um, you know, so but that win, that guy is that guy's pretty salty too. I don't know if y'all keep up with his fights, but that dude's got some hands on him. So, but so did Reggie Barnett. Reggie Barnett is a world class boxer in his own. So, I think Johnny just has this raw, grown ass man thing about him. I feel like it's the same thing that I'm bringing to the table, and it's just hard to beat somebody who won't quit and who's meaner than you. And that's going to be a super entertaining. Anytime Johnny fights is a good time to watch. He's an entertaining fighter. He plays the part when he's out there. He's like, let's go. Step up to this line, and he's out there to put on a show for people. He's not out there just to collect his paycheck. So that's a big fight in itself. And I'm there, bro. Like, hey,
Right.
it's going
Oh, yeah.
down. Me and Chris
You
Lee will
versus
be his
Chris
last
Liebman,
fight.
man.
So it's gonna be a huge card. It's the biggest card they've ever had. That's what I've told people before. It's like, but every card they do is the biggest they've ever had. And this is the biggest card of the year, but it's just February. The biggest card is going to be when I get that belt around my waist. That's going to be the biggest card of the year.
Any prediction on what this fight's going to turn out? You and Chris Liebman on February 5th?
Man, it would do it discredit to pick one way or another. There's so many fabulous ways that this fight could go that would be just amazing for everybody. For me, if I've even heard Chris say it before. It's like I want to go out there and I want people to be proud of my performance, win or lose. So we're not going out there to not win or not lose the fight. We're going out there to put on a show. That's what we're getting paid to do, and that's what we're both excited to go out there and just say to hell with everything else. This is a super fight, and we're going to show people that it's a super fight. So he needs a dance partner, and I'm learning how to tango.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's what's going down, and I got pretty good feet. So my rhythm's pretty good. I've been dancing. I got new shoes. I'm ready for the ball like Cinderella. So,
How do we?
We got that going down. I've had a lot of support for this fight. Like I went from never having a single sponsor to having I got to have a list to read them off. But, like I got Traxler Chiropractic. I go see him and he gets me fixed up in the mornings. And, he's been a huge support. He's flying down for the fights and stuff. First Choice Bail Bonds. I particularly haven't needed their services, but it's good to have those guys on your side if you do. Here locally. And then Parker Collision, AirMed Hemp Extracts. They're a CBD company, man. They've been. Here's a shirt. Right.
Yeah, bro.
They got these CBD. Their CBD stuff's good. I got a buddy who's really big into it, so I've kind of dabbled in it here and there. And the strength of their stuff is good for how well it tastes. Kind of like I had some stuff one time, dude. I swear had to just been, just straight tar from a dung beetle's ass. Like that's what they extracted out of there, dude. It was terrible. And but yeah, so yeah, check them out. They got the balms and stuff. So when I come back sore from training and all, I'm getting all the therapy with that. Johnny's Pizza, which y'all don't know what that is yet. It hasn't gone worldwide. It started here in Monroe, and it's the greatest pizza on the planet. And when you guys come here one day, or you come to Louisiana, or I think there's one in Arkansas, and I think there's one in Texas now. But if you come across a Johnny's Pizza, it's the best thing ever. It's just like some Southern, Cajun type of pizza. Armed Forces Roofing, B-Lid Organics, Dregnard Nutrition, Fight Night Promotions, and then Iron Jaw Mouth Guards. I got one of those that's you got to do the mold and send it off. It says Hero. It's got the American flag on it. Pretty sick, bro. It's pretty sick. Shout out to my wife, my kids, my mom, my dad, all my family helping me. My coaches at the gym, they've been stepping up a lot here lately to help me out while I've been gone so that I can go train, and that's been a huge help, being able to, because, if you want to be the best fighter in the world, you got to put in the work. And I have a lot of responsibilities outside of training, and I'm lucky enough that I've got people in my life that see the opportunity I have as something that's important, and they're wanting to be a part of it and help me out, So, that's Goat management too. I can't forget Vince and Scott. You know, they saved me a lot of headaches. I give them a whole lot. I give them a lot. They saved me from them. So, you know, couldn't thank them enough either.
How do we find that link to buy the fight?
The bare knuckle TD link. I have it I got to put it in my bio on my Instagram, but I'll get it posted. I do have it posted on one of my posts if you scroll down about how to download the fight, because they just switched it up. It was you were going to have to do it through Fight TV, so I had taken that off of my bio and I put up the other link. So now I got to get the other link put up so you can use it through BKTV, and then you download the subscription for like $4 a month, and you'll get the fight for free. But then you also get all the toe the line fights, and then they usually do 1 or 2 free fights a month for BKFC. And I think when they do pay for them, they're usually not that much. They're usually like, I think the last one was like, it was like $6 or something in addition to it. But then it's just like UFC Fight Pass, so you get to go watch all the fights that they've ever had. It's like a collaboration of all the fights on the app too. So that's pretty legit.
Oh yeah, that's and then you can find you on all social medias under Quentin Thomas Henry.
Yeah, that's my personal Facebook. Quentin the Hero Henry is my fan page, and then Hero Henry on Instagram and Snapchat. And I don't do Twitter, but I got the other ones, Instagram and Snapchat. So Hero Henry.
Yeah, you can go check out a couple of his highlights too on YouTube.
Badass.
Yeah, I got a couple of them on there. I get my dad's like, we need to take all them videos down. People won't fight you. I'm like, hey, it is what it is, man.
The fucking meanest jab in the game, bro. Right. I was like, God, I would never want to get punched with that fucking
man. And I hit that last guy. That very first punch I hit him with was that solid jab. It was so. My dad was like, it was so fast, I didn't see it. I said, I didn't either.
Me either. I was like, what the fuck? And then he threw a hook and threw him on the ground. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Well, the second jab, the clip hit him right on the chin, and you can see in the video when I jabbed him, his chin went over like that, and he kind of went limp. But you know, it don't look like much, but there's a lot of hate and intentions on the end of that. You know.
All right, man. This is the last thing you're gonna say to the world. What is the last thing you would say to the world? This is the last time you would say something.
Like ever?
Yeah. If this was the last thing you had, this was the last thing you had to say to the world, what would you say?
Oh man, that's super clutch. That's a lot of pressure right there with no warning. Man, that's why one of the best things I like to tell people is, you never lose if you never quit. And that was a strategy they had in the Revolutionary War back in the day. You can't win a war if your enemy never gives up. And that if you have that mindset, then you always make it through. Whether it's life or business or fighting or school or whatever it is, if you never quit, they can never win. So the only option is you're eventually going to win. You just got to keep trucking.
Yep. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. Those are really good words, man. That's it for episode 55. Go check out the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, the Knuckle Mania on February 5th. Go to Quentin's fucking social medias to find that shit out and get the link and subscribe, man. It's going to be a badass fight, bro. Good luck on the 5th. Have a good time, man. I can't wait to see gold on your fucking waist.
Appreciate it, bro. It's only a matter of time.
All right, man.
Appreciate you coming out, joining us this morning.
Guys.
Evening.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Have a good night, brother. I love every single one of you. Peace out.